Hey guys, got a big project today. Something I've been putting off for a while. I have this rack on the truck. As anybody who's been following knows, I had that so I can put the side-by-side on top and still haul the fifth wheel. I'm looking to build a house, so the truck has to go. So in order to sell the truck, I gotta take this rack off. And so the way this works, I can give you a little tour of the rack before I take it off. So it simply attaches to the front tow hooks, welded a plate to the tow hooks, and then it bolts on, so the whole thing's removable. And the bumper wraps around the sides, and then the legs go up. There's a few designs online that go directly from the tow hook, goes up right to the top. Makes it a lot simpler. You don't need the big bumper, but then you have the bar is right in front of your face, which would be a complete pain in the ass and probably not all that legal. So it was done this way. So it wraps around, there's nothing in the line of sight, and the lights and the blinkers are completely visible. This here is the ramp that opens up, drops down, and then I winch backwards. And if I bring you up top here, so you got the winch in the back, and then it's just a ladder type frame. And the reason it was done that way is so when I back in, so it's mostly these smaller bars, and then you got the bigger bars here and on the back. The tire actually fits between the two when it's set down. Then I got some hooks to tie it down. And the ramp just slides in. And then the sheet metal on the floor is not structural. It's mostly just to stop the dirt and rocks and mud and whatever that would be on the side-by-side to fall on top of the truck. But yeah, so now this thing has done its purpose. We did about 40,000 kilometers with the bike on the roof, so I'd say it did pretty good. So the first step to taking this off is going to be undoing the winch, the wires that go up. So the first thing I got to do, come here, pop the hood. So the way it's set up, the winch is wired to this breaker right here. I'm just gonna open up that breaker so it's safe. Now it's just a matter of going to the winch and undoing the winch as a starting point. So the wires for the winch go underneath the truck, and then they just come up zip tied to here. That's the winch relay. This is the winch itself. I started with a 2,000 pound winch, and it wasn't quite enough. I actually had to put the bike in reverse and give it some gas to help it. So I bumped it up to a 4,000 pound winch. This one has no problem at all bringing the bike up. And the way it's set up, so I have a switch back here, which won't work now because the power's dead. But so I can operate the winch from here. As any other winch, there's a clutch. So if you just want to, when I'm pulling the cable out, just open this up. And I also have a remote, a wireless remote, so I can run it from inside the bike if I want to. So for now, since the winch is actually holding the ramp tight inside, I'm not going to take the winch off right now. I'm just going to undo these wires. So that's going to be the first thing. Those are done. So it's just two wires, just to liven it ground. Now just a matter of cutting the zip ties, freeing that wire up. There we go. That's all that is. So now, let's get back off the truck. So I've got a plan. I don't know if it's a good one yet. We'll know if it works by the end of the video. So the plan, so this attaches, like I said, with the bolts on the front. And then on the back here, got the back leg and the bolts on top. So for now, just to get this thing off, my plan is to take those 8 bolts out. I'm going to leave the bolts on the top leg as is on the top. I'm just going to undo these. I'm going to block the bottom of that thing, lift it up with the jack, take the bolts out, sit it on blocking with all the bolts out. With the back bolts out, the rear leg is going to stay on the truck for now. Got the bike set up. I'm going to hook the winch to the front, not to pull it, just as an anchor so it doesn't move, because there's very little room here between the bumper and the rack. So what I'm hoping to be able to do is, with the bike anchored to it, the back end, everything unbolted, I'm going to hook the tractor up to support the back, lift it off just a hair, just enough to clear the legs, and then I'm going to back out. So that's why when I back out, if there's any resistance between the front mounts, I don't want that to back up and hit the truck. So if I can anchor it to the bike and sitting on blocking so it doesn't move at all, hopefully, I can just back out. Once the truck's out of the way, I can take the tractor, drop it down, and then I can undo the blocking and then take the front leg apart and, you know, move that to storage or whatever. That's the plan. I'm hoping to not drop the rack on the truck, because that would be a very expensive mistake. It went on very easy when we put it on, but we had a shop with an overhead crane. So this is the best way I could figure out how to do it by myself here, and not have to use an overhead crane. Because the problem with an overhead crane, I need a trailer big enough to sit that on, and then I can't really take it back off the trailer. I don't know if the tractor can lift the whole thing off. The whole rack weighs about 1,000 pounds. So, but I know the tractor, like in this situation, the tractor's only lifting half the weight, so it's not as bad. So we'll see how it goes. We got the winch done. Now I'm going to loosen up all the bolts. I'll leave a couple bolts in just so it doesn't move, just loose. Then set up the blocking, set up the tractor, set up the bike. Once everything's set up, take the bolts out, lift the back end just a little bit and see if I can back out without doing a big mess. Wish me luck. So these are the bolts on the back leg on the one side. So start by loosening these off. I was hoping they weren't going to be all rusted and seized up. First one went really well. We'll see how the rest do. So like I said, this last one I'm going to leave loose just as a precaution. I'll take it off when I'm all set. Now for the other side. So same thing here. Just gonna leave the one bolt in loose, just for safety precaution. Time to move on back to the front. Okay, so I got 4 bolts per side, and then be ready to set up the blocking. You need the bar for this one. Taking all the salt, they're rusted up. Got my little helper. Good to go. It's the easiest one to reach, so it's loose. I'm going to leave that one in. Off to the other side. There you go. So all the bolts are out except for two, and they're loose. So that should come out. So now the next step is set up the blocking and the winch and the tractor, and then see if it pulls out. So while I was setting up the tractor, I came on my first glitch in the plan. The bucket actually didn't go high enough to clear the rack, so I had to improvise. The options were, it's either I stopped or I somehow made the truck lower or the tractor higher, and I couldn't make the truck any lower, so I made the tractor higher. So this is a bit sketchy, but it should be okay. It's blocked off, got the brakes on the tractor, so it shouldn't move. When I lower the bucket, so the main, like right now it clears, but the problem is, in order to get the straps, my original plan was to try to get, I thought it was going to go higher than that, and the plan was to try to get the bucket around the middle here. So I don't know if it's going to work. I'm worried it's going to try to pull the rack towards the tractor, which could cause the front to twist and then hit the truck. I'm going to drop the bucket down just to tilt, see what it does, and try to set up. We'll see how she plays out. Take the back bolts out. I'm going to see if I can lift it up off of the back leg without it moving too much. Well, I think we might be okay. So I've got the strap set up. So my original plan was to use just the bigger straps. The issue is, the plan was to hook them up and then lift the bucket to tension them. But since I have no up, I've got no way to get the straps tight. So I had to use the ratchet straps, which are rated for 1,000 pounds a piece. I'm not worried the straps are going to break, but my big concern was the rack moving back. So to stop it moving back, so right now I got two straps on the back, there and over there. and I have these two on the front holding that side. But then to stop my concern of the whole thing moving back, I added these two middle straps, which actually hook backwards so the rack can't move. And I was able to drop the bucket by about an inch and a half, which is all the travel I had up on the blocks. It's completely maxed out. And right now, well, it was off the legs. It sagged a little bit, but it's basically off the legs. There's no weight, and it's not moving side to side. So we should be good. Now what I got to do, other than hurry up before this thing falls, is I got to block off the front. And the plan was not to go this far back. I wanted to have it over here for parking room for now, but it is what it is. So now let's see if I can block this thing up. Now, one of my problems is I had a bunch of cinder blocks, but now they're underneath the tractor. So blocking is going to be interesting. So this is going to be the setup. No turning back. Got the bike tied into it. I'm not pulling it, I'm just holding it. Give it only one more snug, just so it doesn't move back. It's blocked on that side. Here's the bumper. Same on the other side. Jack underneath, the bolts are all out. Got a gap here. My plan was to drop it, but I forgot there was a supporting plate, so I couldn't drop it, so I had to go up one more block. So now, fire up the tractor, lift it up a little bit, back out. Hope it works. Was that as sketchy for you guys as it was for me? It worked. It's fun when a plan works out. That truck looks weird without the rack. I've had that rack on for 3 years. Obviously the back leg still has to come off, but I like it. Now, the one issue that I knew I was going to have, that I don't quite have a solution for yet, my original plan was to do this, drop the bucket, so I could drop the ramp on the ground, and then just move the tractor out. The problem is, in order to get the blocking, I actually had to use the bucket to lift the tractor up. So if I have the rack underneath, I can't lift the tractor up. So we'll deal with that when the time comes. Let's drop it down and see what happens. So the problem I'm having, since I can't bag the tractor up, and the bucket is really, really tight on the rack, as soon as I go down, the bucket hits and the whole thing twists sideways. So if I can drop the front a little bit, it'll make it a lot more stable. So let's start with that. The problem I'm having is the way the bucket's set up. There's a lot more weight on the one side. Well, it's more force on the one side. So even with the jack on the side, I'm still like, that side's lifting up, no problem, and that side's still touching. So, but we're getting there. We have the wood out. Just got to get the blocking off. I'm going to try to twist it with the bucket. There we go. That was level. That's as low as I'm going to be able to get with that jack. Let's see what the back looks like. The problem is the bucket's hitting on the back. Try to drop it a little bit, see what happens. Keep an eye on it. If there's any problems, let me know. The only way to get it down is I need more room on the bucket. So I back the truck up, so I'm going to sit, I'm going to prop up with some wood so I can sit the rack on the top of the bed. I'll reset the bucket with longer straps, lift it back up a little bit, get the truck out, and then hopefully that'll be enough slack to get it on the ground. Alright, so the whole thing's off, straps are off. I got a chance to do a bit of cleanup, get the blocking out of the way. got that off everything, just sitting on the 2 blocks. Everything's good to go. Bike's unhooked. Now the last step, so the reason I wanted to get this completely off was to get some spare cinder blocks. So I got that set up like that, 2 on each side. So that should be fine. I'll just back up nice and slow. Figured you guys had no interest in seeing me clean up, but maybe you wanted to see this just in case something went wrong. So let's see if we can get the tractor off, and that's going to be all for today. But after, so probably tomorrow or later this week, I still have to get this leg off. So I'm just going to grab the front, lift it up, get the leg, take that out. The leg is not that heavy. It can be handled, you know, manually. And then I got to get that thing out of the driveway so there's room to park again. So, but for now, we'll start with the tractor. Go. It worked. It's nice and slow. No drama, just how we like it. Now I'll just put this thing away and we'll get started tomorrow or later this week. I'm back. Today's plan is to try to not be as sketchy as it was yesterday. Just to take this front leg off. I got the tractor set up, not on blocks today. It reaches no problem now that it's on the ground, and I'm able to use the normal straps, the good straps, not just the ratchet straps. So all that's holding this thing in is the 5 bolts on each side, and then that should be able to come right off. Let's get that done. It's all off. I did the same as I did yesterday. Left 1 bolt on each side. Not this last one, because then it could have pivoted out. But so I'll get the tractor, just take the tension off, and actually I might not even need to. It's still tight. Yeah, it's still tight. So I'll just grab those last 2 bolts and see if I can get this thing out. Actually, even if I get the bolts out, it won't move because it's stuck there. It can't actually go unless that pivots. So I'll take the bolts out, lift it up with the tractor just to get it loose before it falls on the ground. I'll pull it back up. Well, time to see if the tractor will lift this thing. Got it strapped up. I didn't try this yet. If it doesn't work, it might just get cut out of the video. but we'll see. And for anybody wondering why I still have the blower on the back of the tractor, is just because I knew I was going to do this, and it's just a counterweight so it doesn't try to tip the tractor forward, because that is heavy. So it might just not lift it at all. Let's see what happens. That front strap is just too long, so I'm just going to reset it. Well, good news, I got it up. Didn't tip. Pretty sure there's not much weight on the back tires, but that's fine. We'll go slow. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put that thing for now. I have some plans for it later, but that's for another video down the line. I've got plenty of land, but the field's way too wet to go with the tractor in there, so I'm thinking it might end up right here at the end of the driveway. I got the leg over there, so that's out of the way. I'll put you guys right here. You'll see the whole thing. If the tractor's gonna tip, let me know. Just gonna put that thing on blocks for now. Hey, I've been asked a few times how this rear leg on the rack mounts up, so I figured since I'm going to take it off anyway, might as well show you. Just a little sneak peek before I take it apart. So I wanted to work with the box, and so now usually the wires aren't there, they're up on the rack, but so when this opens up, I needed some room for the cover, so I made a gap here with this plate to cover up the holes. And so now I'm just gonna back this box. I'm gonna back the box off and show you how it mounts underneath. Alright, so I got the box backed up. So you can see all this is just a supporting leg, and it bolts to existing holes in the bottom of the floor, the bottom of the box. Those are the bolts that hold the actual box in place. They were a bit of a pain in the ass to put in. They're weird bolt heads. I had to get a custom socket direct from Ford, but otherwise this has been working fine. And so what I did to get the extra support, so I got two legs hitting the bottom of the box, which goes up to here, and then it steps to this post. The reason was I wanted the leg to be as far forward as I possibly could to get as much room for the fifth wheel when I turned, and it needed all of it. So that's why this post is not going all the way up. I'm switching over to this one, so I'm moving 1.5 inches or 2 inches. And then this here actually sits on the top of the bed. So it's not, all the load is not even just spread out in the two base plates. It's spread out to the top of the bed. And for those that remember, between these mounts, again, to try to get as far forward as I can, the rack actually steps just the same as the legs does to move it as far forward as possible, because the leg itself is not an issue when the camper turns. It's in the center when the big nose of the fifth wheel turns. It's in the middle here that is the big issue and gets really, really close. So we've gotten it to about that much in some off-roading situation, but overall it worked out perfectly with the steps. But if I didn't have, if the rack would have been straight and the leg would have been straight up, definitely would have been an issue with the fifth wheel that we had. So glad it all worked out. So now all I got to do, take this out, just take those 2 bolts and the legs off, put the bin back in, and and the wires, I guess. So the wires for the winch were going through this plate. So existing grommet, just gotta take that off. Oh, I'm just seeing these now. I completely forgot about these. So I actually have the extra bolts on the top. So there's 2 per side. Those were holes that I made, and I put an insert because there's no way to get behind there to put a nut and to actually hold the nut by hand. So it's just a threaded insert. It's like a rivet with some threads. The idea was with the top bolts was just to try to hold like the front to back movement of the rack. I was worried if I only had the bottom bolt, there's nothing really kind of holding the leg from doing this. So that helped. There's a lot of movement in the rack, even empty. Just the rack weighs 1,000 pounds, so even just driving on bumpy roads, you look at the rack from inside the truck and you can see the rack wiggle. But we put 40,000 kilometers on the rack with the bike on the roof, and it was very solid solution. So now time to get rid of this. So the last step to finish off getting the rack off the truck is these tow hooks on the front. So that's the factory tow hook, and I built up these plates, got that welded on. Otherwise it should look like this. So I gotta get rid of this so I can sell it. Unfortunately the bumper has to come off, but it's been 3 years since I took it off, but from what I remember is just 1 connector and 4 bolts, so it's not the end of the world. And looking at it now, I'm pretty sure the tow hooks could come out without removing the bumper, but I got these plastic pieces that go on here somewheres behind the bumper to cover up the tow hook to make it look a little better, and those will need to go in from the back. So the bumper has to come out. Let's get that done. See if I remember how to do this. Well, that was a bit more fun than expected, so I didn't remember it, but these bolts do have to come out. They do hold the bumper, and then on this side this cover had to come out, which wasn't too bad, and then this thing, just 3 bolts, should come out easy, but it was all stuck on the pins. So now it's just 2 more bolts and then the bumper should come out. Well, that's done. This thing's all steel, weighs like 50 pounds. Now you can really see, go to this side, you can really see the hooks. So this, like this is what the factory one looks like. So this plate bolts right to the frame, which the factory hook does not. So I extended this here that was taking all the load from the front of the rack into the frame, so it's not just in the toe hook try to bend it. This one here is nice and strong, nothing can bend. So now take these 2 bolts, 4 bolts on each side, should be able to swap these out. Got one side done. So you can see there's only the 4 bolts here holding the tow hook itself. These bolts on each side actually just hold the 2 frame pieces together. They have nothing to do with the stock tow hook. So the way I had mine was quite a bit stronger than the factory setup. So that's the difference before and after. So now just a matter of getting the other side done, putting this whole thing back together. So that's done. Now it's just a matter of putting the bumper back on. No, that's not true. I gotta put those covers in the bumper first. See if I can figure out, if I can remember how those go in. Or even which side they go on. That's probably it. So that ended up taking longer than I expected. But the bumper is back on, clips are on, covers are on. Now just gotta clean it up and sell the thing. Thanks for watching.